Facebook post. So go to copy the description and title. Paste it.
I don't want to have somebody who's like, why don't you? I'm for mine. I'm just sure if mine is.
Yeah. Got it.
So I do right there, the watch and all caps.
I like cut anything.
What's that?
I can't cut anything on video. It's just going to be whatever's on me. There's not like a way they can.
They'll be able to hear it, right? But they won't be able to see it. If he pulls something up on YouTube,
Right.
they'll hear it. Like people watching at home will hear it, but they won't physically see it.
Right.
Yeah. So you can pull up audio, but not video.
Why are you flexing? Hey, what do you mean flexing? I'm not flexing.
So I think cut the description. People will do it. Cut the links.
Shots of show the pictures of you at OSU with the long hair.
All right.
So copy paste that.
He's still you'll catch Stairs in the polo. He's still got that lineman, like that lineman build.
Were you a line?
I was so not.
Talking about this.
I was playing college football at 100.
Copy the whole thing. Close it down. Pull the Thrivetime Show graphic on it. Pull it to YouTube.
That's what it says.
We got everybody social media sharing over here.
We will soon.
Okay. And then this guy.
We're live.
Cool.
Stairs?
Never threw the ball.
Never threw the ball. I'm here. We're live. Okay, boom, we're live.
Let's have Jason be our first guest. And then
Devin, last night, can you pull it up where he can see him?
Got it.
Let me see him. Let me see me.
We're going live.
Wait, do I have time to pee?
sure. All right.
This way? To the left, right.
You sit. For now, you sit.
Cool. That's good. We're in.
That music's too loud. I can turn it down.
All right, Stairs. We're live here on the Thrivetime Show Election Day podcast.
Loving it.
The I want to start off by explaining. This could be a 12-hour show. This could be a 12-hour show, uninterrupted.
No problem.
And
I'm just gonna pace myself.
If I need to spend 12 hours talking about just one topic, I will do it. But here's the first topic I want to work through.
Let's do it.
Why do Americans need the police? Because Joe Biden is against the police. If you look at all the Democrat cities, the Democrat-run cities, all the blue states, if you look at Oregon, we look at the city of Portland, if you look at Washington, D.C., if you look at these if you look at the Democrat-run cities,
Yep.
there's anarchy everywhere. Every one of the blue states is having problems. And these are the states that want to defund the police, where President Donald J. Trump, he wants to refund the police. So President Trump's very clear. If you're watching right now and you're not into safety, I could understand why you're voting Joe Biden.
That makes sense.
But
if I think that way.
so let's talk about this real quick. How could anybody, do you know anybody who is in favor, I'm not asking for their name, but do you know people that are actually in favor of removing the police?
Yes, I do.
You do? Please explain. I'll just sit here.
Now,
please explain to me.
There is a big difference between me knowing people that are for defunding the police and explaining.
I'm not asking if you know him in a biblical way. I'm just saying,
Okay.
do you know anybody?
I do know somebody.
Yes,
and
I knew him back in the day. We would.
and I have asked them to explain.
Yeah.
But Clay, once again, it's like they are on another planet. Their worldview, everything that they value, is very different than what I value.
Okay.
So when I'm trying to put some type of understanding around that thing, when I'm trying to wrap my head around it, I'm bringing my value system, I'm bringing my worldview to it. and it just does not make sense.
What
but
is-
of course,
what
when they're
is-
looking at me, I don't make sense to
What
them.
what is the worldview that says I don't want the police?
I don't know.
What is that
I don't know,
worldview?
because for me,
I like it when
for me,
things are burning all around
know.
me. I like
do
a good
not-
rape and pillaging in the morning.
I
That's
do
exciting.
not want to be the person that has to go out there and make people follow rules. I don't want to be that guy. So I'm all for the police being those guys.
You were
Even-
a school
even
teacher.
when they come to me and make me obey the rules.
You were
Yeah,
a school
I don't know.
teacher, right?
I was a
You
school
coached
teacher.
football.
I coached football.
Imagine that you didn't have the authority back in the day
No.
to hold the kids accountable for turning in their paperwork. Would they have done their homework?
No,
No.
it's a nightmare.
So I mean, imagine what it would be like on the highways if there wasn't law enforcement to make people adhere to the rules. This idea
Yeah.
of defunding the police makes zero sense to me.
And Clay, I think that there are a lot of people that don't fear the consequence, and so they don't have any problem breaking the rule because they don't fear the consequence. There is always, for me personally, there's always going to be a limit to the fear of the consequence. And so, for instance, if I know that if I was interested or thought about breaking the law, I don't want to go to jail, Clay. That's like a fear of mine. Going through some small town in some backwood town and getting pulled over, and all of a sudden, it's the sheriff, and he said you were with my daughter, and it's over. And next thing you know, I'm doing some weird stuff. So I don't want to go there.
Let's what we're going to do is if we need to spend 12 hours on just this one idea, we will.
We will.
But I want to make sure the folks out there are getting this. If you're watching this right now and you are in favor of the police, I mean,
Yes.
if you're think about this. If you are in a blue state right now, how's that going?
Yeah.
If you're in Portland right now, I mean, if you are in a tent right now in the Portland streets, you're a homeless person, you're a vagabond, you like burning things, maybe this message isn't for you. But if you're in favor of the police, you got to ask yourself, which candidate is in favor of the police? Now, here's the problem I have, and I want to get your take on this, Clay Stairs, okay? There's 4 P's of voting. The 4 P's.
Of course, the 4 Ps.
And I'm gonna type them on the show notes. I'm gonna go over them with you. And I want to get your take on this.
Sure.
The first one you look at, and I want you to put them in the order of what matters. Okay.
Got it.
You have the policy.
Love it.
You have the platform, or basically the political party. All
Okay,
right.
thank you very much.
Then you
That's
have
helpful.
the personality,
Ooh, very good.
and then you have the principles. The 4 P's when voting. Which one of these is most important to you? Is it the personality of the candidate? Is it the principles that the candidate supports? Is it the political party they're a part of? Is it the policy? What do you think is the most important thing to vote for?
For me, Clay, I would love for it to be. I would love for it to be the personality. I would love to just love the person. This person's just awesome. But it's not. It's not personality for me. For me, the first one is the policy. What do they bring to the table?
That's right.
What is the future? What are the policies that are going to govern the United
Now
States?
let's take there's
That's
somebody
number one for me.
There's somebody out there watching right now that says, "Well, personality's the most important thing for me. It's all about personality." Let's take that onto the football field. You coached
Yeah,
football.
I did coach
What if you
football.
took the guy with the best personality and made him the quarterback because he has the best personality? I mean, what would happen? Again, I know people do this a lot for the homecoming king and queen. They go, "This
yeah.
guy's got a great personality. Therefore, he should be the king of our high school." But if you vote for candidates based upon their personality, what kind of candidates do you end up with?
Well, you're going to end up with, Clay, I think you're going to end up with people that are the type of personality that are closest to you. And it's going to be personality that you like. But I think you and I both know that, man, people can turn on you. People can change. They can act a certain way to get you to do something for them. And then they'll spin on you. But Clay, I had this very conversation, and it's tough. You've had
It's
these
tough.
too.
That's
Conversation on Facebook,
Yeah.
if that is a conversation. But, I said, we can't go with personality here. We need to focus on the policy.
Yeah.
And, of course, I got hammered by a handful
Hammered.
of people just going, well, Clay, I think character is, so important. I can't believe, and these were school teachers. Wonderful, wonderful people, okay? But they were school teacher mindset, and so they were all about the character. And unfortunately, Clay, there's been so many people, and when I say so many, I'm thinking over 20, hadn't been 50, but definitely over 20 people that I've been communicating with on social media that have just been harping on the the personality of Trump, and these are believers. These are people that are pro-life. These are people that love the Lord.
Okay,
but they're
okay.
just going,
You
I
went
can't-
no.
I just went there.
Listen, you just went there. You just went
I
there.
just opened up a can.
What you did is you brought up another topic.
Yes,
we
but
were going to
it's
do a 12-hour show
but for
just
me,
about the
policy is
police.
policy is
Policy
number one.
Okay, so President Trump, you just mentioned this.
Which is
President
another P.
Trump. He is a pro-life guy. President Trump is pro-life, right?
Yes,
And Joe Biden is pro-baby murder. Joe Biden is call it what it is. But Joe Biden is pro-baby murder. So let's just focus on those two topics. Again, if you're saying, I don't like somebody's personality, so I'm not going to vote for them, and therefore babies must die. I mean, think about that.
It does not make sense.
It doesn't
in my
make any
world.
sense.
But again, Clay, I think that there are people out there that are so focused on the personality that they just get stuck and they can't.
Do you have good eyesight? Do you have good eyesight?
Do I have good eyesight?
Yeah, do you? I mean, pretty good.
I do have pretty
Were you
good
talking
eyesight.
to were you talking to their ass or were you talking to their face? I mean, how do you know?
Thank you very much.
Maybe
Yeah,
you were talking
it's
to their
just,
ass.
What is
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and
Oh.
it's the classic, Jim Carrey thing. But Clay, that's just it. I think they are so focused on the personality.
Yeah.
Now, where many of the people that I have spoken with or had this conversation with on social media, they are actually thinking about not voting
Not voting.
because they can't see themselves voting for Biden, but because of his policies. But they can't vote
for anybody
Trump
out for
because
anybody
of
out
his
there
personality.
For anybody out there that has this sort of mentality, you say you just can't vote for anybody. Let me explain to you what that's like. That's like you go to the gas station. Okay, you go to the gas station, and you go, I don't like the personality of the guy working at Come and Go.
Yeah.
I don't like him. I don't like. So I didn't get any gas.
I didn't get gas.
I didn't get any gas.
I showed them.
Now we don't have any gas.
I'm sitting on the side of the road.
So I guess we're just going to be pushing this car down the road because I didn't like his personality. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to vote for that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Now, what I want to do, and you're going to help me do it, we're going to have a great time today, is we're going to bring on different people from all different backgrounds, and we're going to ask them why they are voting for President Donald J. Trump, okay? Why they are voting for President Donald J. Trump to be reelected as the president of these great United States, which, by the way, folks, if you ever leave these great United States and you go to other places, other countries, it's not that good. Not that good.
Not at all.
So
Not that
the
good.
world needs a strong America. America needs a strong church. Derek Sisney, why don't you introduce yourself to the Thrive Nation, to the people out there. Tell them who you are and why you're voting for President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, so my name is Derek Sisney, and I am a business owner, and I care about my freedoms, and I care about my entrepreneurship mindset to be able to further what we have in America.
Were you ever the model for a sort of liquor?
Was I? No.
You
no.
look like you could be the face of a liquor brand. Do you agree with that, Stairs?
Let me. Oh, look at the
That
face
is
right
the
there.
face,
He's
yeah.
so
Yeah.
sexy. He's so sexy.
But he would
it's
definitely
just-
have to grab an accent there, and
Yeah,
that could definitely work for him.
I struggle with accents, so I can't do that.
Now, you served in the military, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Air Force.
Were you aware of, when you signed up, were you aware that you did that? Or did you wake up from kind of a party and find yourself enrolled in the Army? Are you aware of when you signed up?
Oh, absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely.
Why did you sign up to
My
serve?
dad was in the Air Force.
Oh, nice. So I actually.
Speaking of Air Force, I was not in the Air Force.
I
okay,
was not
okay.
either.
Okay. Back to you in the booth.
So no, I was I felt a calling, just this deep thing in me that I wanted to serve my country.
So you wanted to serve the country. Now, again, I want to get your take on this. You're a former member of the military.
Mm-hmm.
Two ideas, and I'm only going to talk about these two ideas today. I cannot talk about other ideas because, people will tune in for a few minutes. Some people will tune out. But the question I would have is, are you in favor of the police? Are you in favor of the police?
100%.
And if you are in favor of the police, why could you even understand somebody who's voting in favor of Joe Biden and or Democrats that want to defund the police? Can you even grasp that idea?
I can't. I've actually spoken to people about this as well, and it just blows my mind. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you identify yourself as a white man, as a black man? What do you identify yourself as?
Well, I am mixed, so it's very difficult to do that.
mixed.
But I would say Hispanic, probably.
Hispanic?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's so this is a Hispanic vote here. So yeah.
So President Trump won the last election in 2016 with
Yep.
8% of the black vote.
Yes,
8%.
that's right.
Now, there's all sorts of polling out there. You can read Rasmussen. You can read some exit polls. But the point is, it's more than 8% now. I just want to know, do you see a lot more enthusiasm from the Hispanic, from the black community for Trump, or not so much?
Oh no, I see a lot.
A lot?
A lot more enthusiasm. Yeah, because look at the shows. Look how many people he brings. I mean, he was just in Miami not that long ago, and you're talking 20, 30,000 people there, and that's what they like. That's how you speak to the Hispanic community.
Now, we don't take advertisers on this show, but I'm working on a Joe Biden commercial. You guys want to hear it?
Sure.
Yes.
Hit it.
Are you tired of safety? Do you want millions and millions of babies to be murdered by mothers who didn't practice abstinence? Vote for Joe Biden. I mean, how in the world are people in favor of Joe Biden? I want to know, how is somebody in favor of Joe Biden? Please explain to me, Derek, how anybody could be in favor of defunding the police and aborting babies.
That's the $1 million question, right? I mean, the race literally shouldn't be this close. If we would just take it as this is who he stands for, but the media spins it. That's what it is. The media spins it to make it fit this agenda, and then people just buy it.
And I guess there's somebody out there that thinks Chris Cuomo makes sense, but just please understand this. I'm appealing to your basic humanity. Do you want to be safe upstairs with the police? That's the question. Do you want to be safe or safer with having a well-funded police? Or are you in favor of having anarchy? I mean, really, that's what this whole election is about right now.
It is for us. But, again, in these conversations with people that are pro-defunding the police, what I'm hearing from them, Clay, is we are defunding the police, and we are taking that money and we're putting it into social projects. We're putting it into helping the community. All of the money.
Oh, and that'll work well.
Thank you very much.
Public schools.
But that's their move. Is they're taking the money from here and they're going to give it into these social programs that are really going to do some good. And I'm just going, they're not.
I just don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get it. But Derek, back to you.
I was going to say is that, I mean, shouldn't you want to put more money into the police departments, right, to hire better quality individuals?
Or the same amount of money. But the idea that you would think about this. If you are in Portland, how many people watching right now, you know somebody in Portland? How's that going?
Right.
How is that going? How many of you have family in New York? How is that going? How is that going?
I'll tell you how it's going for them. They're boarding up downtowns. That's what they're doing.
Unbelievable.
All the blue cities are boarding up downtown. And it's
crazy?
funny that it's blue, and you don't see that in the red cities.
At all.
Blows my mind.
After President
yes,
Trump
Trump
wins,
supporters.
I hope he does Operation Whoop Ass, which is where any of these Antifa idiots, they just get arrested and taken away.
Yeah.
That has to happen. Now, we're going to go ahead and get another guest on the show, Jason Beasley. But before we get Jason on, Derek, I want to ask you one more time.
Yep.
Talking to the folks at home, looking into that camera there, why are you voting for President Trump? Why did you vote for President Donald J. Trump to be reelected as the president of these great United States?
I am voting for President Trump because he is probably one of the most conservative presidents in my lifetime, and at least since Reagan. Look
What
what
does
he's
conservative mean to you?
done.
Does
To
that
me,
mean policies?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the Middle East. Look at what he's done for the economy. Look at what he's done for business owners. Look at across the board. There is nothing that he that we've had another president. I mean, even if you go back to George Bush, you didn't see what you're seeing today. I mean, he moved the whole Israel thing.
He talked about grabbing a woman in the private part.
People
Do we want a president that talks about that?
believe it or not, their men do talk like that. They do. People talk like that inside the locker room, but you don't record that. Like that's not
And
something that's out there.
furthermore, I know women that talk like that.
Exactly.
I
And
know
he's
a
changed.
lot of women who say insane comments when referring to male anatomy where they objectify men too. I've seen it. I've
Right,
seen it both
absolutely.
ways. So
and it's changed. Like individuals change. I mean, that was what, at least 4 years ago when that came out, 4 or 5 years ago. People change, and to say that person is the same from 5 years ago is mind blowing.
Straight there.
Right,
Straight
exactly,
there.
exactly.
You know,
Character.
I've been on social media. I've been very vocal about
Very active.
about the COVID,
Right.
about the COVID thing going on, and about the scam and everything. And then I just post the other day these 20 different things about here's why 20 more reasons why I'm voting for Trump.
20 more reasons.
And number 20 talked about how Trump has responded to the COVID and how he has, made sure that things got shut down and made sure that everything, that people got everything that they needed. And this one person responds to me going, oh, so now COVID's a big deal. So now it's really important. It's like, so out of those 20 things, you take the one.
Right.
I don't get
And
it.
what I'm going to do,
don't get it.
and what I'm going to do in my shameless attempt to sell America
Here
on
it is.
voting for President Donald J. Trump is I'm asking you just two core questions. If we don't have well-funded police departments, how's your life going to go this time next year?
There
Thank
it
you
is.
very much.
Just period. I
Yep.
mean, okay. And then for those of you who claim to be Christians, if you want the blood of unborn babies that are being murdered, if you want that on you, if you want a president that's aggressive about late-term abortion, if that's what you want, that blood's on you. You get up to heaven, you answer, you talk to the guy upstairs, you talk to God, and you say, hey, it was all about personality. That's just ridiculous. Again, I go back to it. If you need gasoline right now for your car, I need gasoline, you need gasoline. You go to get that gas, you go to pay for that gas, and you don't like the clerk who's checking you out at the gas station, and therefore you decide not to pump gas and to just not get any gas at all because you were mad at their attitude or their personality, that makes no sense.
No sense at all.
Right.
A surgeon. Back in the day, I used to work with a surgeon who, a client who, total massive jerk, but everybody wanted to use him because he's the best at what he does. And he's told me directly, he's like, hey, I'm not really Mr. Personality, but if you want to have this particular procedure, I'm your guy.
I'm the guy.
And I tell you this, Michael Jordan, great basketball player.
Yeah.
Don't know
Not
that
a
you
nice
want to
guy.
bring him to youth group.
Uh-huh.
All right.
You know? And what we're going to do, Derek, this is your assignment here. I
Okay.
need you to round up my incredible wife to have her on the show.
Okay.
So round her up. And we're going to have our next guest, Jason Beasley. Jason Beasley. And folks, all of this right now, we are at the Republican Party, the GOP watch party. It's 2:46. We're about 20 minutes into what I believe to be a 12-hour show. And, they say sitting is the new cancer or something.
True.
So I guess I'm smoking or something.
I haven't heard that. I
No,
don't
they're
know.
saying it. They're saying
Sitting's the new cancer.
they're saying it's a
Oh,
bad
very
thing, all the
interesting.
sitting, all the digital whatnots, causing
Okay.
people to sit, all the time. So, okay, so Andrew, I want to ask you, I got two areas I want to focus on. Stairs, we want to hammer him about this. We want to hammer all of the guests. We want to hammer Jason about this. So, Jason,
Hello.
Joe Biden is in favor of defunding the police. President Donald J. Trump is in favor of refunding the police. President Donald J. Trump is in favor of the police. Democrats are not.
Yep.
Blue states, Oregon. Blue states, Washington. Blue states, New York. Blue states, Illinois. All of the states with insane anarchy are blue states where they've defunded the police.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the issue of defunding the police?
Well, my thoughts are who's going to come and save your stuff when it's burned down and glass is broken and your livelihood's taken away because if you don't have a funded police department, I don't really think anybody's coming to save you.
Do you appear to be a man who has done a lot of tanning over the years?
True.
Or a man of color, or a man of... How do you identify... How would you describe your ethnicity?
I prefer the term mulatto because it's old school. But I also prefer the term African. I'm mixed, so like Derek.
African.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one.
Wow.
But yeah, no.
Straight African.
Yeah, black and white.
Wow.
Okay,
we got
so-
another mix. So the first guy was a mix.
This is true.
Now we got another.
See if you can
Is this
see
like
if
a
you can
mix?
weave the phrase in
We need to
African
get
more
some pure
often.
blood up here.
Okay,
I
now,
like the hat.
now the argument that people make for defunding the police is they say we need to stop the violence against black people. Now, I am not black. I know it's shocking. I'm not black. I'm not shocked. So, folks, I know somebody out there, just your mind exploded. You're going, wait a minute. You're not black? That's true.
I was surprised.
This just in. I'm not black. So being not black, I defer to you in the booth here. So Jason, have you ever been harassed, like you're at Panera Bread getting a bagel and then the cops show up, whoop, whoop, and all of a sudden they harass you and frisk you? Have you seen this firsthand? Tell me what you have seen or haven't seen as it relates to the racial relations with police and people of color.
I've had one really good run-in with a police officer. Pulled me over because my tag was expired, and I was a dum-dum. That was on me.
How were you dressed at that time?
How was I dressed at that time? I was coming from work, so I had on a button-down and
Got
some
it?
slacks.
And what time of the day was it approximately? In the morning or night or?
Ooh, this was about 5 p.m.
5 p.m., okay.
Still bright.
And you
Summer.
were harassed by an officer.
No, that time was fine. That time was.
How often have you personally been harassed without merit by a police officer?
One time, but to me that wasn't an officer. That was a bully with uniform. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have personally been objective. I look at it objectively, harassed by a police officer on 2 occasions.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously not for being black. I was just driving in my Kim Jong-un themed Hummer. And again, there was a person who wasn't happy with his marriage or his life or something.
Yep.
And he pulled me over. And he pulled me over for actually driving too slow. This is a real thing. And he says, have you been drinking? I said, no. He says, okay. Can you step out? Yeah, step out. Do you have insurance? Yeah. Do you have any? We do the whole thing. But it's this angry idea of where are you going? What are you doing? But I will say, objectively, the time I got pulled over was very early in the morning because it's like 3 in the morning.
Right.
And I was at 3 in the morning, and my vehicle was filled with flat screen TVs because I bought them so the context
What
clues.
could be wrong with that picture?
But the context clues could indicate that I was up to no good because I have a Hummer filled with flat screen TVs at 3 in the morning.
Right.
But I'm just saying the idea that I'd want to defund the police because of what I felt like was an aggressive behavior, the way I was treated was too aggressively, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Can you please let me into the mindset, Jason? Do you know anybody, I'm not asking for names, but anybody who is in favor of not having a police department?
Yeah, plenty of people from my previous
Are you serious?
liberal camp that I used to be in. Yeah.
Wow. What's their argument?
Emotion is their argument. I mean, there's
So let me
really
get
nothing more to say.
So let me get emotional for a second.
Yeah, it is.
Imagine
it is
what your
emotional.
house is like when it's being looted. Get emotional for a second. If that's
Right.
what you need is an emotional argument. Imagine having no police. Imagine calling 911. Boop, 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 boop. You go 911. Boop, 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 boop. I guess it'd be boop, boop, boop. 911.
There you go.
Boop, boop, boop. You call. Thank you for calling 911. How are you? Yeah, I got my house is getting broken into right now. Well, sorry to hear that. You doing all right? I'm going to send a social worker your way, someone who's going to
Yes.
help you.
Can you imagine the social workers they're wanting to put in charge of these things?
How do you feel about it? So, Jason, let's get into the 2 issues. Let's go again.
do it.
Defunding the police. President Trump is in favor of refunding the police, of adequately funding the police.
Right.
Joe Biden's against it. Why are you voting for President Donald J. Trump to be the next to be reelected as our president of these great United States?
Well, because so far as the very first time I voted blue because I wanted to vote for Barack Obama, and I was very liberal mindset at the very very liberal.
Which is
mindset
almost
at the time.
impossible to not be liberal if you go to public school. By the
Right,
way.
and I did, and so I was a byproduct of
Point.
my environment.
Okay.
And when I'll be honest, the first time Trump came around, I didn't want to like the guy. I didn't like the guy because my idea of a politician was a politician, not a business owner. And then when he got elected, I was a little skeptical. And then I realized, oh, this is great because what have politicians always done to me? They've always lied. They've always given me promises, and then they've always gone against them. They've always had an agenda. I stopped listening to what he said and started watching what he did, and he did every single thing that he promised.
So let's get into this for a second. Joe Rogan.
Point Jason on that. Yeah, very good.
Joe Rogan is a guy. By the way, mega point. Mega point. Joe Rogan is a podcaster, an MMA guy.
Yep.
Who has a very, very popular show.
Yeah,
the
his-
Joe Rogan
his reach
podcast
is
is
huge.
huge. I mean, just in this past week, he's interviewed Alex Jones. He's
Kanye.
interviewed Kanye West. And Spotify doesn't want him
Nope.
to talk about these subjects, but they also just gave him $100 million to host his show. So anyway, long story short, Spotify chose to have a liberal voice as their big guy because Joe Rogan used to be liberal. I feel like a lot of your transition to being more of a freedom-loving libertarian or conservative has been parallel with Joe Rogan.
It has. I mean, for the longest time, because I wouldn't say that I'm similar to Joe. There are areas where we definitely differ as far as like ideologies go, absolutely. But one of the main things that I would say are similar based on how we believe is we've always come from an area of, this is how things are. If we want to be open-minded, we want to be progressive, we want to be liberal, we have to think these certain ways. Well, then now it's like he and I at the same time over the same year have realized, holy crap, we were wrong. I mean, he saw everything going on in California and how nobody's doing anything about it. And he realized these are the people I put my stock in.
Yep.
I can't be here anymore. They don't have my best interest at heart. So what did he do? He moved to Texas. And then now that he has kind of gotten out of that, I would call it brainwashing, just
Can I
systematic
please
brain control.
explain? I want to explain this to people out there who don't get this. The weather in California is better than the weather of Texas.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
There are many more Hollywood big-time connections in California than Texas. For a man who was a liberal to flee
Yep.
California to move to Texas, Stairs, how bad does it have to be for a man well-established, one of the world's top podcasters. I mean, we're talking about Joe Rogan is massive.
Yeah.
How bad does it have to get for a man to uproot his life and move? I mean, it has to be bad in California.
Clay, it's got to be real bad. I can't imagine. And for those of you that are listening out there, I mean, put yourself in that spot that you're not just disagreeing,
Yep.
but you are uprooting your life. You're leaving your home. You're grabbing your family.
It's a big move.
You are leaving friends. You're leaving what you are familiar with, and you are literally going someplace else.
To Texas.
Because of this issue. You're not going because there's a better job. You're not going because there's something that is necessarily pulling you. There's something that is pushing you
Joe
out.
Rogan said when he saw the looting begin,
Oh,
he said it was getting bad when it was in the downtown areas. Then he started seeing it move into the suburbs, and he started realizing this stuff's happening right down the street from my house.
Exactly.
I got to get out of there. So again, Jason, we'll probably have you on the show a little bit more today. I just want to get your take on this. Why are you voting for President Donald J. Trump? Why did you vote for President Donald J. Trump?
Well, because he is going to act. And if I've learned anything from, I wanted to be a politician for a while until I realized that I didn't want to surround myself with people who had false intentions and who were weak. He's not. He's a man of action, and I had to leave my previous liberal way of thinking because I realized all that was there was empty promises. There was no action.
When you did what Candace Owens is calling the Blexit, where people of color are exiting their party, have you met some nice people on the other team?
Oh, absolutely. And I always thought, I thought everybody in the opposite team were monsters that wanted to kill me because that's what happens. You demonize somebody enough, you create an enemy. It doesn't matter if they're good.
That's unbelievable right there. Now, what I want to do is I want to get my wife on the show.
Yeah.
Because she's smarter than me and she's more in tune. This whole pro-Christ thing that I'm into, which I'm never going to depart from, but this whole, like, outspoken Christian thing, this is what she's been doing for years. And Stairs, I'm just kind of now, you know how it is. It's like if your wife is 100% right about something and she gives you the pro tip, she says, hey, this is the whole pro-Christ thing makes sense. As a guy, a lot of times, there's part of us that doesn't want to ask for directions.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, no, I will get there. I will figure it out. She's been patient. She's been persistent. She's here. She's a wise mother of 5. Vanessa Bird, how are you? Welcome onto the show.
I'm doing great. Good to see you, Clay and Clay.
This is the original Clay over here.
Oh,
now,
the old Clay.
There's people out there, women, who, unfortunately, some of the polling is showing that women are most susceptible in terms of polling to voting based on emotional things. So I want to go over the 4 P's of voting, and I want to get your take on this.
P's.
There's 4 factors you want to factor in when you want to
factor with a P? Factor.
Factor. So this just in. I don't believe that's how you spell it.
The P's silent.
So, but what I want to get into is that there's 4 P's, 4 variables you want to factor in your mind when you're voting. The one is policy. The second is platform. The third is personality, and the fourth is principles. So, policy, platform, personality, principles. Which of those is the least important to you when you vote?
Personality.
Why?
You know what? I just look at, to me, the policies that are implemented are the number one thing. And if I look at Trump and I look at the policies that he has put in place, he's very pro-Israel. He is pro-life.
Come on.
I look at the judges that he appoints and they're constitutional judges. And so, to me, it's like a no-brainer. I can't even imagine anything else because he lines up with my worldview. Now, I can see if I was someone who didn't have this worldview, then yeah. But if you're coming in with a biblical worldview or you're pro-life, you're pro-Israel, you're pro-Constitution, you're basically what this nation was founded on, I mean, to me, I don't even question it.
Now, let's just say you're listening right now and you're not pro-Christ, but you're just pro your own life. Like you're just a selfish person. All you care about is yourself.
Yeah.
The worst thing you could possibly do for yourself is to defund the police. And all the Democrats, they want to defund their cities. You look at this, like Austin right now, more and more people who I know who live in Austin are saying, dude, it's getting crazier here since they began defunding the police. Yep. And you hear people making these emotional arguments. I would think the number one emotional argument to get somebody who's a traditional Democrat to vote Republican would be, Do you want looting in your streets? I mean, do you want your kids to not be safe? I want to get your take on that. What's your take on this? These Democrats that want to defund the police.
Well, everything that you're saying to me as a mother makes me think about my family, and I'm pro-family. So no matter where you are there, if you want strong families, I mean, I want fathers in children's homes.
Yeah.
I want, mothers and fathers in good relationship and close relationship with their kids. I think the parents need to be the primary decision makers in their kids' schooling, the things that they're taught. If they have the option to go to a charter school, maybe they can't afford a private school. And he's doing that. He's giving more opportunity. I know that threatens a lot of people who maybe are in public education or, but I think it's a spirit of, it's a competitive spirit. It makes everyone better. It makes all the schools have to get better when people have choices.
So why did you vote for President Donald J. Trump? I just want to get your take. Obviously, you're my wife. Obviously, I respect you. But I just want to know, why did you vote for President Donald J. Trump?
I liked him right from the beginning, but also look at who I'm married to. I'm married to a very strong guy who I think they have a lot of similarities in personality, so that doesn't bother me. And so I liked him. You say that yes, for me, the personality is the thing that's going to be the least, have the least sway, but his personality does not bother me. Is he a perfect person? No, but I don't have a problem with people not being perfect because I'm not a perfect person.
To like a person's personality doesn't mean they're perfect.
No.
It just, I like their personality.
But you know what I like about him the most? Is that, I can go and point to
Big
a lot
hands.
of things. Yeah. To say, you know what, I'm ashamed that he said these things about women at one time. But you know what? I have not heard him say those recently, and I hope that I believe that everyone there's redemption for everyone.
Now you did cheerleading in high school.
Yes.
I didn't do cheerleading in high school.
Okay.
I went to high school though, and I knew cheerleaders, and I've heard women say comments that are just as foul as any audio I've heard President Trump say. And I've heard President Trump's interview.
Well, and it's
on
no
Howard's.
excuse for either one.
I'm just saying I have heard people act like, oh my gosh, I've never heard that. I can't. But no, listen, I've heard Trump's interview on Howard Stern years ago. I've listened to it, the full length. I've listened to the whole thing, and I could say I've heard women say have you heard men and women say crazy comments?
No one should be saying those comments, and it's not okay. But what I'm saying is that I believe people can change, and if you look at the Trump of today versus then, he hasn't gone through another wife. Okay, I can tell you that. You know what I mean? So I just think I look at the things that he has in place, and I see God working through him. I'm like, if you're pro-Israel, you're pro-life, you're putting in judges that uphold these biblical values, like, how can I not vote for you?
Can we talk about this for a second? Because you know a lot more about that controversial book known as the Bible than I do. There's this guy in the Bible named Paul.
Yes.
And Paul wrote 13 books in the Bible, 13 books. And Paul was beaten 39 times on 5 separate occasions. He was shipwrecked 3 times. He was stoned 1 time that I know of. He also was bitten by a snake. So he went through a lot. He wrote the Bible from prison. So I just want to ask you, what's the story of Paul when back in the day before the name change? What kind of person was Paul before the name change?
Well, from everything I understand, he was someone who believed he was doing the right thing, but he was persecuting Christians because he thought they were wrong, right?
Rounding them up.
Yeah, and
killing them, and putting them in jail.
And he believed he was doing the right thing, and I wonder if that's part of the reason that God sought after him, is that he truly. he was dedicated to it, right? He thought he was on the right side, but he, like all of us, can have a transformation. He had a true transformation with the Lord, and then had put just as much passion and energy for bringing people to the Lord.
And Clay, it's a great point that you're bringing up, because the messenger so often, I don't know for sure. I think, but I don't know for sure. My thought is this probably is, but I don't know for sure. That Trump is a tool in God's hand.
Yes.
And God's tools are always offensive. Even
That's good.
Jesus, his son, was offensive to those people that were positioned for offense. And I think God will continue to use humans that that bring his purposes into play, but they will be offensive. Paul was very offensive. I can't imagine if I had known Paul when he was Saul.
Yeah.
And if I knew that he was this guy that was killing everybody, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing that, hey, Paul's putting on a conference down by the ocean, let's go to it. The offense that you would have to get over to listen to this man, to follow this guy.
Now
Wow.
let's talk about offense for a second. At a certain point, people need to have a message delivered with the subtlety of a missile.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you know. And Jesus in the Bible, Matthew chapter 21, verses 12 through 13. I'm going to read here to the listeners out there. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 21, verses 12 through 13 reads, "And Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all of them that sold and bought in the temple and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, It is written, My house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves." Jesus sounded like he was a table flipper.
A table flip.
I mean, and so I've never flipped a table. I've hit a wall before. I've thrown a printer. I mean,
I flipped the table.
you flipped a table one time?
Yep.
Really?
Flipped a table. That was me.
Earlier this morning? Were you in
Not
a fit of
early
rage?
this morning, but
Okay.
I have flipped a table.
Were
And
you
I have to
inspired
tell-
by the Lord?
I have to. I don't know about that. It was. I was a football coach at the time, and I have to tell you, it felt very good.
Really?
And,
Ah!
yeah, had waters on it.
Really?
I'm flipping it. It was halftime.
Did it result in a victory?
Resulted in some good. I'm not going to say resulted in victory because many of you guys know my story of being a football coach for one season, and we went 0-10. So I can't say
Well,
that it got a
I was
victory,
gonna
but
say,
it did
'cause if-
get. It did
It
get
gave you a reaction.
It got
Got
a
a
reaction.
reaction.
Got
I was
a
going to
reaction.
say, if that was the key to victory, I'd flip this table right now.
We're flipping tables.
Flip a
Yeah.
table. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I want to ask Vanessa one final question, and then Andrew, I want to clarify. Make sure all the people who know me on Facebook, because I'm currently in Facebook jail, if you can find some of those people and comment on their pages, like John Barnett, hey, dude, check this out. Hey, Matt Klein, what's up, dude?
Check it out.
You know, do that kind of thing. Get up all in their business. And you know, and again, someone there might say, Clay, don't you worry if someone's upset. You've been so strong about the whole Trump thing. You know, you're so outspoken. Well, check it out, folks. Matthew 5:11 reads, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you." Woo! I'm blessed.
Revile.
I'm blessed.
I've
'Cause
been reviled.
blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. So listen, folks. I sat down this week and interviewed, spent time with, my wife was present as well, with Roger Stone. Roger Stone,
That
you know, the
Roger
Roger Stone that they falsely accused of doing various things.
and
put him in jail.
he's someone who's been transformed. If people can hear his interview,
Franklin Graham just led him to Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
Lord
he's
and
a
Savior right
new
there.
believer.
New believer. So, final capstone question for you before we have our next guest on. And we might have you back on later as well.
Okay.
Why should all the moms or dads, humans, but specifically moms, why should every mom right now is on Facebook Live going, I don't know. Why should they all vote for President Donald J. Trump?
Strong families, strong schools, strong country, strong law enforcement.
Come on.
I mean, I think about the discipline we have in our homes. I mean, we need to have the same discipline in our nation. And so I think that it just solidifies the future for our kids. We need law and order. I want people to have strong families. I want them to have be able to make the decisions about where to send their children to school. I want them to have peace, know their businesses can grow, the economy can grow. You know, this country, there's no other country like this, and there never has been. And to tear it down, it breaks my heart.
It makes it. I was telling Stairs this, and this is something I keep repeating on today's show. I think it's a good example of this. But it's like you and we just got back from Nashville.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I didn't have to deal with the toll booth Willie to pay for the. You know, whenever you park your vehicle, you have to pay a fee, like $20 a day to park your vehicle or something. And you used a credit card, and thankfully, I didn't have to interact with the toll booth Willie. Mm-hmm. But I bet you 3/4 of the time that I have to interact with a toll booth Willie at the airport, it's not a favorable conversation.
Doesn't go well.
Because I'll say, "How are you?" and they go, "Hmm," and they're watching TV or they're annoyed if you need help. It would be voting. Not voting for Trump because you don't like his personality would be a lot like me not leaving the parking garage because I don't like Toll Booth Willie.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'm just
I interjecting here for a second. I can't speak to, because I'm not, in someone else's body, what they're in their mind, to know what they find
As your
specifically.
husband, that's good to know that you're not in anyone's body.
Specifically
Coming
offensive
from your husband,
about Trump.
that's a positive thing.
But
positive.
if I don't know what they're specifically finding offensive about him, if it's maybe his mannerism, you've got to remember, we're in a war.
Yes.
Okay, the other side knows it. Trump knows it, so he's coming out swinging. So I don't know if that's what's off-putting to some people, but I think some people don't realize, and maybe this has woken people up, everything going on with COVID, the China virus, everything going on with, you see the unrest in our in the cities and buildings burning, and you see how the Democratic governors and mayors are handling this. I think people are waking up, but that is why he is reacting so strongly, and I'm happy for it. We need some strength.
And Vanessa, he is so different than any other president that I can remember.
Yeah.
Because he's not playing politics.
He's not.
He's saying it. He says it like, what are the stats? I forget the exact stats, how many tweets he's doing every day. He is saying it constantly, and he is aggressive in his speech.
Yes.
And again, I think that offends people. And I think people carry that offense, and they go, well, I'm not going to vote for him. Okay, what are your choices? Are you going to go vote for Kanye?
Yeah, and again, he's in a war.
Yeah, he is in a war
And
every single day.
you know what? And the other side knows it, because a lot of them, they have done so many bad things that they are literally fighting for their lives, because they know
Yes, if they get caught,
if he
it's
gets back in,
over.
like, they're going to jail.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
It is over.
So for them, it is life and death. They are coming out swinging.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Very good one. I know. I got the hands up in the air. The hands up in
Shaka
the air.
Baba.
I almost saw the volcano.
Now, what we're going to do now, and this, make sure we get this. I was telling my wife, and I told her such as a volcano, it's a positive thing.
It is. Volcanoes are good.
There's a lot of people
I just
that-
don't want to get slapped.
I'm just going to say this. I mean this. I was saying this to you, but now that we're on air, it's a better time to explain it. I'm saying is that a lot of people, they just hold it back, and the volcano never goes off.
Yeah.
My wife is a calm woman. She's a Christ-loving woman. She fears God. And nobody, including me, doesn't fear me at all. No. So I'm afraid of her. But at a certain point, she'll speak out. And I call that mom. I call that mom energy, mom volcano. Now listen, folks, if you're out there.
Whoa, he's
Oh my
wild.
gosh.
If you're out there watching right now and you have kids, it's time to get mom crazy
Yeah.
and to start posting everywhere. Matthew 5:10 says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for their righteousness." You need to vote, and you need to call your friends like you have a psychological problem, or like you're at the early foundational level of a multi-level pyramid thing. You know those people that are wanting that money real fast,
Yeah.
that quick money?
Yeah.
They just signed up in some multi-level. What they do is they start cold calling you. You haven't talked to them in a decade, and they start cold calling you like, "Hey, dude, I was just thinking about you." And
It's good talking to
hey,
you.
You ever
Haven't seen you in a
thought
while.
about auto shipping your soap? No, I haven't. Oh, well, let's meet up at Panera and talk about it. That's
Because you're getting soap already.
It's-
Just get it through me.
You got to get that intensity, though.
Yeah.
Right now, we got to get out and vote. It has to happen now. Quit telling me that you're going to vote. You're too busy to vote. Some of you call in sick all the time at work. I know you because I employ many of you. I know you.
Yeah.
What you do is you say you're sick, but you're not. Pull that move right now and go vote.
Yeah.
Well,
If you
I
have to.
believe that you're actually, I don't have all the facts on it, so I don't want to misspeak, but if you don't have at least 3 hours after work or something, you have paid time off to go vote. Now go check that out before you just
Any
go.
of my
do
employees
it.
that want to
Spouting
go
off
vote,
about
I'm
it.
just saying. But if you work for a boss who won't let you have time off, I let my team have time off to vote. Many of them are here today. But some bosses, if you won't do that, just say, "Hey, boss, I got to go to my car and find the meaning of life. I'll see you in 4 hours." You got to get that vote in. Don't tell me you didn't have time to get that vote in. And Vanessa, if you could go find one more great American.
Yeah, I'll do
to have
it.
on this
I
show,
think
that'd be great.
is there?
Oh, yeah, we're going to get Anthony on here.
Yeah,
right?
Anthony's ready to
But
go.
it's like a
Thank you,
rotation
guys.
thing. It's a rotation thing. And then
Vanessa, this was great.
appreciate you very much. And then, Manna, if you can make sure that you find my friends on Facebook and make sure you tag at those guys, my buddies on Facebook, kind of share the show with those guys. Guys like Jonathan Barnett, Matt Klein, anybody who's my friend on Facebook, just feel free to do some cyber stock and let's make it happen. Now, Anthony, tell the listeners out there, where are you from, sir?
Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Yes, long ways.
And how did you come to know Clay Stairs and myself? How did you get to know everybody here at the Thrivetime Show?
The fantastic Clays. Yes, I was actually out here for the Tulsa rally selling Trump gear. You know, get your Trump gift from me. You already know. Yes. And Clay Clinton went to the tables, and he's just like, you know what? I want y'all to come to my show, and we've been together since then.
I invited you guys to come to a conference and sell your Trump wares. I'm very proud of you taking a stand that is against the mainstream narrative.
Yes.
Because, again, I mean, if some people out there are shocked to hear this, but I'm not black. So I can't relate to black America. I can't say, oh, I experienced this or that. I can't do that. I can say I ran into some serious racists in Detroit one time, people that wouldn't serve me because I was white.